Before we get into today's video of Bears Minicamp battles, I want you guys to give me a follow on Twitter. I'm keeping you guys up to date on the Bears over there. Also, we've got NFL coverage. I love the NBA as well. I've been tweeting about the playoffs for the past month and a half, however long that has been going. So give me a follow at HGramNFL, and let's grow my Twitter page together just like we've grown this YouTube channel together over the past couple of months. At HGramNFL on Twitter, and you can send me your questions as well. You're watching Bears Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Harrison Graham. Let's take a look at some Bears minicamp battles with minicamp already underway, taking place this week at Halas Hall in Chicago. And I wanted to keep an eye on 4 position battles specifically for minicamp. So we'll go one by one here, and we will break it down for you guys. Number 1, the number 2 cornerback job. And I think this one really stands out to me more than all of the other ones, is the CB2 job. And we'll talk about cornerback first before we go to these other ones here, because to me, you've got your CB1. I think Jaylon Johnson can be that guy. Like, he'll certainly have some growing pains for Chicago as CB1 this year, but I think he can hold it down. I thought he played well last year. Can Desmond Trufant be your CB2? I've got question marks. I think you guys should have question marks. He was injured last year. When he did play last year, he was one of the worst graded corners by PFF. He just simply was not good. Will a guy like Kindle Vildor push him? I certainly think that's possible. The good news is Jaylon Johnson is young, and he's CB1. You're okay there. But you didn't replace Kyle Fuller with Desmond Trufant. Like, if you think Trufant replaced Fuller, that's just bad management if you are Chicago. Now, the good news is the Bears have a lot of options in that cornerback room. Now, are any of them great options? We'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Trufant is the guy who will get the first crack. He's a veteran. He's played some good football in the NFL, not as much as of late, but at just 30 years old, in theory, he could still be a good player if he's healthy. Kindle Vildor, a guy who has been spoken highly of this offseason by Sean Desai, your new defensive coordinator. Got some playing time late last year, did some okay things as a late-round pick out of Georgia Southern. He will get a chance as well. Does a guy like Thomas Graham get an opportunity? Artie Burns? We'll have to wait and see when it comes to the CB2 job. Who will be CB2? Get your votes in. Predict it for me. If I had to guess, I'd guess Desmond Trufant, right? He's the veteran. He's the most proven. I have question marks, but I think out of all the options, he's got the best chance. But maybe you disagree with me. Get your votes in and let me know what you guys think. Get subscribed to Chicago Bears Now. You see the link below. It's youtube.com/Bears Now. Hey, don't miss any of our coverage here on YouTube because we have the latest Bears news, rumors. We do segments like this, the latest going on during the offseason for the Chicago Bears. Hit that red subscribe button. Share that link below down with a friend. It's youtube.com/Bears Now. So cornerback number 2 was the first minicamp battle to watch. Let's go to wide receiver number 3 now. And something we've talked about quite a bit over the past couple of months is you've got your top 2 receivers. Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney are your top 2 guys. You feel good about that if you are the Chicago Bears. Can Anthony Miller prove he's worthy of being that wide receiver 3 slot guy as the main option there? He's been inconsistent. He's flashed. When he's played well, he's been wide receiver 2 worthy, but at other times he's getting ejected in playoff games. Which guy are you going to get consistently? I don't know. This is obviously a big year for one Anthony Miller, who had 48 catches, 485 yards, and a couple of touchdowns a year ago. I thought he took a step back in 2020 compared to 2019 and even 2018. Big year for him here in 2021. Will a guy like Damiere Byrd, who actually played pretty solid last year for the Patriots, be another option there? Maybe he could be wide receiver 3. Marquise Goodwin is a player the Bears signed as well, as he did not play a year ago. You've got Byrd, you've got Goodwin, you've got some different names that you can throw at wide receiver. That doesn't even include like Riley Ridley, Javon Wims, Dazz Newsome. Obviously, I didn't include him because he's hurt. He's not competing at Bears Minicamp, had that collarbone surgery just a couple of weeks ago. But the Bears loaded up at depth at wide receiver, and now we'll see who emerges after Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney. Will Anthony Miller be wide receiver 3 for the Bears? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I'm going to lean yes. I think he's the guy to beat, but the Bears will not settle for Miller this year. If someone beats him out, he will get beaten out. So get your votes in, Y for yes or N for no. Quick reminder to give me a follow on Twitter. It's at HGramNFL. Remember, I'm keeping you guys up to date with more Bears information over there. And plus, we do these mailbags on our live shows every Tuesday, but if you miss those or your questions don't get answered, that's all right. Just send me a DM, give me a follow, and then slide in my DMs. They're always open. At HGramNFL. Ask me anything Bears-related, NFL-related, NBA as well, college football. Huge sports fan all around here. So at HGramNFL on Twitter. Go ahead and give me a follow over there. So we got quarterback number 2, wide receiver number 3. Next up is tight end, and obviously that is the main tight end role here that I'm talking about. And you've got your 2 guys, right? You've got the vet, and you've got the second-year player in Cole Kmet. Obviously, Jimmy Graham being the veteran there as we look at the depth chart here. I've already put Cole Kmet as tight end 1. I think we need to see him assert himself this year and be that guy. Doesn't mean Jimmy Graham can't still be valuable. Doesn't mean he can't be a good red zone option like he was a year ago. But you drafted Kmet in the second round to be that guy. Last year, between these 2 players, we saw Jimmy Graham, in somewhat surprising fashion, be much more utilized and much more effective, if we're being completely honest. I mean, 8 touchdowns, that's fantastic for Jimmy Graham at this point in his career. Kmet really didn't gain the coach's trust until later in the season. I thought he did some good things late in the year. Only had a couple of touchdowns, though. Only 8.7 yards per catch. I think both those numbers can and should go up this season. Cole Kmet needs to ascend as tight end 1 this year. Now, Jimmy Graham absolutely has earned playing time, especially in the red zone. I think we'll see a lot of 2 tight end sets where, one of them's playing that H spot as well. So I think that you'll see both these guys be effective, but Cole Kmet needs to be the guy where you're like, hey, we're facing the Bears this week. Who's their top tight end? It's Cole Kmet, not Jimmy Graham. That's what you need because, hey, if Jimmy Graham's your number 2 guy, that's pretty good, right? That's you're feeling pretty good about that, and that would be a huge turnaround after a couple of years ago. This Bears tight end group was the worst in the NFL. Who will have the bigger impact out of these 2 guys? Type CK for Cole Kmet, type JG for Jimmy Graham. Get your votes in on this one. I think it'll be Kmet. I think we see a big jump for him this year, which is why I had him as an offensive breakout candidate for the Bears as well. So one more to go. CB2, wide receiver 3, tight end. I'm going to include quarterback. Now, if you're watching live, then you know here on Tuesday, about an hour before the show, Matt Nagy quadrupled down that Andy Dalton is the starter, that Justin Fields is the number 2. But he did also mention that he can't predict what will happen between now and in week 1. I'm not sure this is a true battle yet. Keyword being yet there. I think we've already seen some signs that Justin Fields will be ready sooner rather than later. Got raving reviews during rookie minicamp, during OTAs. Obviously, this is a big couple of days for him at minicamp, and Andy Dalton will continue to get the QB1 reps, which he probably should. But I wanted to include it still on this show because I think if Fields has a strong minicamp this week, goes into the 4 or 5, 6 weeks off period before training camp in July, maybe in training camp it becomes more of a battle, but I still wanted to include it because Andy Dalton, it's not like he's coming off some Pro Bowl year with the Bears. A, he wasn't with this team last year. B, he was very average, if not a tick below average, with Dallas a year ago. I like Dalton. I think he's serviceable, but that does not mean that Justin Fields shouldn't at least be given some glimpse of an opportunity to win this starting job if he is clearly the better option for Chicago. So I included it. I know what Nagy has said. I don't even necessarily disagree or don't believe what he's saying, but I do think this will continue to have storylines. This will have legs as Justin Fields continues to show out if that does end up being the case.